Hello, students. Now, this is Dr. S.S. Bellad, and going to start a new session 22 of the same chapter. This is electricity and magnetism. And in this session, we are going to learn what is the divergence and curl of the vectors. And recap. Already we have in the last session we have studied the concept of scalars with examples, and also we have understood what are the vectors, and we have understood what is the concept of the del operator, and we have seen what are the scalar and vector products. So in this class we are going to study mainly the concept of the divergence and the concept of the curl and how they are represented geometrically. And after listening to this lesson, this session, you should be able to know the concept of the divergence and the concept of the curl and how the divergence and the curl are represented geometrically. And so coming to the divergence of the vector field, in the last class we have studied about this del operator. So this del operator can operate on a vector giving the divergence. So we have to take the scalar product. The scalar product of del with any vector gives another quantity. It is called as the divergence of that vector. So the divergence of a vector field at any point is defined as the amount of flux per unit volume diverging from that point. So for that, just I will show one diagram here, just to show what is the meaning of flux. So you can see here, these are the flux lines coming out of a surface or coming out of some volume. You see, these are the flux lines coming out of some surface. So the divergence, and hence the divergence of a vector field is nothing but it gives the, or it tells the idea about the amount of flux coming out per unit volume of a body. It is called as the divergence. So if A is a vector function differentiable at each point x, y, z in a region of space, the divergence of A is given as I told, the divergence means we have to take the scalar product or dot product of this del with this vector A. So we are taking the dot product now. This is the del operator and dot is there, and this is the vector in component form. So you simplify this one, you will get you will get the divergence of this vector. So that is written as a div A. So you read this as a divergence of A, and it is nothing but del dot A, and the scalar product of these two gives dou Ax by dou x plus dou A by dou y plus dou A by dou Az by dou z. You know, this is a scalar product, so the components are multiplied together, and other means only the components of similar kind remains here, and the components of the unlike components vanishes. For example, I dot I is 1, so this component remains, though dou ax by dou x remains, but the second product, that is dou ay by dou x, is multiplied by I dot j. I dot j is 0, so that part is that component is vanishing. So only these three components are vanished after taking this scalar product of these two vectors. And this quantity represents the divergence of an vector field in the Cartesian coordinates. And already in the last class we have studied the gradient of a scalar field. The gradient of scalar field is a vector function, whereas the divergence of a vector field is a scalar function. So the process of these two is opposite to each other. They are opposite to each other in nature. And del dot a and a dot del are not same because it is a vector product. Means it is a vector. In case of vectors, these two things are different. And next, coming to the physical significance of divergence of vector field. So as I explained, the divergence of a vector field at a point gives the amount of flux per unit volume diverging from that point. For example, if V represents the velocity of a fluid, then divergence of V gives the rate of flow of fluid at that point per unit volume. So for this also I can show the same diagram. This diagram, these are the best examples to show the divergence here. This can be a flux, or this can be a fluid, anything which is coming out from some volume. So that shows that it is the divergent. So next, if divergence of V is positive at that point, then either the fluid is undergoing expansion, or the point itself is a source of fluid. I will show this also diagrammatically. And if the divergence of V is negative at that point, then either the fluid is undergoing contraction, or the point serves as a sink. And third one, if divergence of V is 0, then the fluid entering and leaving the element is same. That is, there is no change in the density of the fluid, or the fluid is incompressible. The vector field satisfying this condition is called as a solenoid. So this thing also I can show with the help of a diagram. This diagram, you see, the meaning of positive divergence. So this is the source, and something is going out from this. It can be a fluid, or it can be the flux lines. Then if this is the case, it is called as a positive divergence. And here it is called as the negative divergence. Here towards this point, these flux lines are coming, or the something is flowing into this one point, and then that is called as the negative divergence. And zero divergence means this is the point, and flux is coming in and equal amount of flux is going out, so the net change in the flux is zero. So that kind of situation is called as a zero divergence. Again I will come to that point. So these points are explained. And next, again we can take another example. The divergence of current density J gives the amount of charge flowing per unit area, per unit volume uh, per second from a small element of a closed surface around that point. So this also we can take as an example, and the divergence of current density. And the divergence of if the divergence of current density is zero, then this indicates that the medium is free of charges. Means the charges are not flowing into the medium. And if the divergence of B, this is the magnetic field intensity, if this is zero, in magnetism shows that magnetic field is closed. So again, already I have shown the good examples for the divergence. Uh, so here we can see the cases are there. Here actually divergence is zero because flux is not diverging here. Whatever the amount of flux is coming into the surface, same amount is going out. So your divergence is zero. Here also the divergence is zero, but here we can see the flux lines are diverging out from the surface. And that's all about divergence. And next we'll come to another physical quantity. It is called as the curl of a vector field. This curl of a vector field is defined as the maximum line integral of the vector per unit area. It is essentially a vector quantity with the direction normal to the area. So if A is a vector function differentiable at its point x, y, z in a region of space, then curl of A is expressed as a cross product of del and A. So mathematically, the curl of A, how to get the curl of a vector field is that we have to take the cross product of this del operator with this vector, and that gives the curl. So this curl of a vector is generally represented as a determinant in this form. It is a determinant in this form. So here the unit vectors are there. Here partial differential operators are there. Dou by dou x, dou by dou y, dou by dou z, and here the components of a vector ax, ay, az. So this is the expression for curl. So the curl in terms of del operator can be obtained. So this is the del operator, and here is a vector in component form. Component form means the x component, y component, z components are there. Then take the cross product of this del operator with this vector e. So this is the del operator and cross symbol and the vector. So when we are going to simplify this one, these terms are obtained. So these terms actually represent a determinant. So therefore, this del cross A is written as a determinant form. So for example, I can show you how this first term comes here. So the first term dou Az by dou y minus dou Ay by dou z comes by omitting the first row and the first column. So the when you omit the first column and the first row, the terms left are these four, and then you take the cross product here, dou az by dou y. So here dou az by dou y is there, and minus dou ay by dou z, minus dou ay by dou z. So in this way we are solving the determinant. So that is therefore these terms represent a determinant, and hence because of this reason the curl of a vector is represented in the form of a determinant. So therefore the curl is a determinant. Here we are going to see what is the physical meaning of significance of this curl of a vector field. And here in the diagram actually we have we have shown the flow of a liquid. So these dotted lines indicates the different layers of a fluid. And in the figure 1, these arrow marks of equal magnitude indicates that all the all the layers of this fluid are moving with same velocity. And here we have kept a peddler. So this pedal type of thing is not rotating here. And you consider the figure 2, same thing is there. We have considered a fluid, and this dotted line indicates the different layers of a fluid, but the arrow marks here are of different magnitude. That means the different layers of this fluid are moving with different velocity. When that is the case, you can see here, if we kept a pedal type of thing here, so that starts rotating. So here we say that the curl is not zero. Here the curl is not zero, but here the curl is zero. So this is just an example for the physical meaning of a curl. Next, we can see some examples for curl also. Uh, Here also we can see uh, here are there. Huh. And this one, this is the vectorial representation of a curl, or the geometrical representation of a curl. And here, let us say the A and B are the two vectors. A and B are the two vectors with some angle between them, and so they form some area. They form some area. This A cross B, the magnitude of A cross B gives some area. And when the cross product of these two vectors is taken, we are getting a third vector. So that is perpendicular. This blue line, that is perpendicular to the surface area containing these two vectors A and B. So therefore, the curl of two vectors gives another vector. That vector is always perpendicular to the first two vectors. So that is seen here vectorially. And there are some examples for curl of a vector field here. So here the flux lines are the some motion of the fluid. You can see here they are not straight. They are not going straight. They are rotating here. In some places they are rotating, then moving like that. So the something is curling or something is rotating here. So this is example for the curl of the vector field. And here also we can see these these arrow marks are rotating as we are coming down. So this is an example for the vector curl of a vector field. So this I explained. The physical significance of the curl of vector field is explained with the help of this example also. Next, therefore the meaning of the general meaning of curl is rotation. Means something will be rotating. I can show you one more example for this. Another good example for the curl of something. So I can take this example. The current carrying conductor. This is the direction of current. So whenever there is a flow of current in the conductor, always a magnetic field is created around this conductor, and these magnetic lines of force will be curling or will be rotating or will be revolving around this conductor. This is also a very good example for the curl of a vector field, because the magnetic field is a vector field, so that will be curling here. So therefore, so this I have explained using that fluid example. And when a current is passed through, this also I have explained with that diagram. Next, coming to this point, uh, see the curl of an electric field results in the rate of change of magnetic field in a perpendicular direction. So again same. This is linked with the same example, because the current flowing through a conductor, if that is changing, the rate of change of magnetic field in a perpendicular direction will also be changing. Hmm? The curl of magnetic field results in the flow of electricity. They are two phenomena linked with each other. Current can be made flow with the help of the magnetic field, or magnetic field can be created with the help of the flow of current. So these two things are explained, or they are connected always with each other. So next, nature of divergence and curl of a vector field A with respect to some fluid, and these are the different situations. Suppose del dot A equals 0, that means the divergence is 0. Then that kind of fluid is called as a incompressible fluid. Hmm? If the divergence is 0, then means the fluid will be moving straight away without any divergence, then it is called as incompressible fluid. And if the divergence is not 0, then this is called as a compressible fluid. Next, if the curl is 0, there will be no rotation effect, so therefore it is called as irrotational fluid. And if the curl is not equal to 0, then there will be rotating effect, and it is called as a rotational fluid. Like that, it can be called as a rotational fluid. And together, divergence and curl together, we can see divergence is 0, curl is 0, both are 0, then it is the case of irrotational flow of incompressible fluid. Next, divergence is not 0 but curl is 0, then it is a case of irrotational flow of compressible fluid. Then the divergence is 0 but curl is not 0, so therefore rotational flow of incompressible fluid. This becomes the case of rotational flow of incompressible fluid. And divergence is not equal to 0, curl is not equal to 0, both are not equal to 0, then it is a case of rotational flow of compressible fluid. So these are the different case they come across when you study the fluids. Next, I'll go to the next slide. So summary of this session is that the divergence of a vector field at a point gives the amount of flux per unit volume diverging from that point. And the divergence of a vector field is a scalar function. Hmm? So as I told, it is the opposite nature of gradient. Vector, the gradient of a scalar field gives a vector function, but the divergence of a vector field gives a scalar function. So the processes are opposite to each other. Next, the divergence of A is expressed as the dot product. So the divergence is simply expressed as a dot product or scalar product. And if the divergence is 0, then it is called as the solenoidal case. Next, the curl of a vector field is defined as the maximum line integral of a vector per unit area. It is essentially a vector quantity with direction normal to the area. And this curl or the rotation of A is expressed by the cross product. And if the curl is 0, then the field is said to be irrotational. Next, we are moving to some we are going to discuss some these MCQs. The first question is identify the nature of the field if the divergence is 0 and the curl of the field is also 0. The answer is solenoidal and irrotational. You can go back to that chart. These are there. And if divergence is 0, then the field is solenoidal. Next, what is the divergence of this field? F is equal to xi plus yj plus zk. The answer is 3, because you are taking the divergence of this vector. So means del, when you operate the del on this f, the it is a scalar product. So It is a scalar product and it is a partial differential. So the differentiation of this x with respect to x gives 1. The differentiation of y with respect to y gives 1. The differentiation of this z with respect to z gives 1. So therefore 1 plus 1 plus 1 it gives 3. And next, the curl of a vector gives a vector quantity. Means it is del cross A that gives a vector. And if curl of A is 0, then A is irrotational. Means the curl of a vector is 0 means the vector is not rotating or deviating at all. It will be moving straight away. So therefore there will be no rotational effect, and that is called as a irrotational case. And these are the books you can go through, and these books are available in our library. Okay, thanks for listening.